Okay, we're starting a new series called ASAP. Some of you, and many of you obviously know what ASAP means, but just a few of you may not know. It means as soon as. Yes, yes. So this month of April, we're gonna talk about the people from Luke chapter 7 who wanted to meet Jesus ASAP. Okay, and we're gonna talk how desperate they were to see Jesus, and it can be our case too. So we're gonna start the first part of the series. We're gonna go into Luke chapter 7, verse 1 to 10. Give us passage. Okay. I'm gonna read the passage for you. It's Luke chapter 7, verse 1 to 10. Goes, when Jesus finished saying all this to the people who were listening, he entered Capernaum. There was a centurion's servant whom his master valued highly, was sick and about to die. The centurion heard of Jesus and sent home elders of the Jews to him, asking him to come and heal his servant. When they came to Jesus, they pleaded earnestly with him, "This man deserves to have you to do this, because he loves our nation and has built our synagogue." So Jesus went with them. He was now far from the house when the centurion sent friends to say to him, "Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I do not deserve to have you come under my roof. That is why I did not even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him, and turning to the crowd following him, he said, "I tell you, I have now found such great faith even in Israel." Then the man who had been sent returned to the house and found the servant well. I don't know if you guys saw this amazing movie called Titanic. Have you seen the movie Titanic? Do you even know that there is a movie actually called Titanic? I know what, it feels like yesterday, actually, I saw that movie in the theater, but it came out in 90s. Anyway, so if you recognize, when you hear Titanic, the movie, you're like, oh, I know the movie. I remember the day I went to see the movie to the theater, then you're old. And I'm one of you guys. I just remember the movie Titanic, okay? It was a good movie. If you are, one of those youngsters, you never seen the movie, I guess it's worth try, okay? But if you've seen the movie before, there's a very famous scene. Very famous. Even if you didn't watch the movie, you know the scene. It's the scene when that Jack is holding, I think, the lady. What's her name? Rose. Thank you, another old person. Jack is holding from the back behind her. Rose. What do you call it? Like a top? It's not even top. At the corner of the boat. Okay. Yes. Anyway, it looked like this. Remember that scene? Yeah. Oh, okay. You're wrong. Okay, it's okay. Keep trying. All right. So that's one of the famous scenes from the movie. You all remember that, right? So many people talk about it. It became actually one of the memes for the age, okay, the generation. But in the movie, it looked like that. But I saw somebody was saying, in the movie, maybe it looked like that. But in reality, if you try that, if Jack and Rose tried this, it would more look like this. If Titanic was realistic. That's real life. Can you go back? That's in the movie. Okay, I think our lives are like that too. This movie in real life again. Go. Okay, that's real life. I think our lives are like that too. In our dream, in our ideal world, we imagine that something nice, something fancy, something beautiful. You feel like if you chase your dream, everything will happen according to what you want. But in real life, like what we saw earlier, that kind of thing happened. Something ugly happened. Something ungrateful happened. Something not fancy happened, right? Sometimes, whether you want it or not, in your life, you can get desperate. You feel like, oh, where am I going? Am I going any further here? You feel stuck. You feel ugly. You feel not good. You feel desperate. The story we just read, the story of a centurion, he has servant and he valued, according to the text, is he valued the servant highly. Is about to lose, because the servant is sick, lose that servant. And he get desperate. He feel like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? When you get desperate, it actually means you feel helpless. Helpless. Centurion felt helpless, so he became desperate. He's about to lose his beloved servant. And this kind of thing happened to us too. Recently, I talked to one of our church members from Bali Bread Church, and she texted me saying her mom is dying. Not just dying, but she was getting weaker, she was getting tinier. You know, when you see old person getting older and dying, then you see that the body actually shrinks. And you see that the energy is leaving her. And she sees the same thing, and she was really sad to see her mom, because her mom poured out according to her, this lady, poured out everything throughout her life for her and her sisters. And now after 8 decades, now she's seeing that her beloved mom is dying. She's saying that it's just heartaching and there's nothing she can do about it. She felt helpless. And she's just having that sadness in her. Not just that, not just, like our physical condition way, but in every way we feel helpless. Years ago, there was a high school kid at our church, and he often came to me and talked to me, Pastor Sonny, I remember which school you went to. By the way, I went to school in the States called the University of Washington, Seattle, one of the best schools in the world. Yeah, UW Huskies! Sorry. I know my tension is too much for 9:30 worship service. Anyway, yeah, University of Washington, Seattle. That's my school. I went there to study. I studied political science and communications. Anyway, so I shared this information a few times with our congregation. And this guy picked that up, and he was basically saying to me, I want to go to your school because that's the world best school ever. I'm like, that's right. And then he kept trying, okay, studying, and he got into school. I'm like, and he came to me. He looked so like happy. Well, Pastor Sonny, I got it. Your school. Now we're sharing the school together. I'm like, I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy for you. Good job. Well done. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's great. So I congratulated him. But deep inside, with all my heart. But later, he came back to me, and I heard that he was telling, I got in, but my family couldn't afford for me to actually go to that school financially. So I had to drop it. And he went to the other school in Korea. And days later, I met his father. And he was telling me the same information. Like, my son got in, but I couldn't really afford him go there. But I still remember the look the father had. That he was disappointed himself. He was like, my son he was really willing to go to that school. Financially, I couldn't afford and support him. I am disappointed in myself as a father. And that looked really sad. He felt helpless. We'll feel that kind of helplessness all the time. And we don't like that feeling. We don't like that feeling of helplessness. So you know what we try to do? We try to be qualified in every area of our lives. So we work hard, make sure that I am financially qualified. We do our best that we can educationally qualified. We make sure that we are qualified in every area of our lives so that we can avoid that uncomfortable feeling of helplessness. And that's what you've been doing in your life. You try hard, study hard, work hard. You don't want that feeling of helplessness. But so you try to like deny that sometimes. When I got married, which happened like 20 years ago, and my in-laws family are here, and my family in States. So we got married, and here in Korea, and my wife and I stayed in my in-laws' place for about a month, and after the month, we were going back to States to live there. Anyway, so I stayed in my in-laws' place. My mother-in-law, she's an awesome lady, and right after our wedding, she felt some sort of like mission that she had to do, which is she wanted to fatten me. And because to her, my body type was not good enough or fat enough. So she somehow felt that I have to fatten this boy. Because she was successful. She's been always successful at fattening people. Seriously, she gave me the information. I was successful at fattening my nephew. I was successful. Anybody that I touch, it got fatter. And you're my new project. So she actually kept me in the living room. And she told me not to move. You just sit in the couch, don't move, lie down there, just watch TV. Okay? I know, it's like a dream life for you guys. But she was like, no, I don't want you to move. I want you to just stuck in the couch, don't move, watch the TV, okay? And I'll just feed the food in your mouth every 20 minutes. She did that. And she did all she could do. And after a week later, I stayed the same. And she was like, no, I got to try something else. So there's a Asian traditional medicine place in Korea, right, called Hana Bank. Anyway, so she took me there, and she made this awesome medicine, Korean traditional mysterious medicine, which will fatten me, according to her belief. So she gave me the medicine another 2 weeks, and I stayed the same. And then, you know what she actually did after all that? After all those attempts, she took me to the doctor's office. She made me take all the medical exams. You know why? Because she didn't want to accept the fact that she was not successful at fattening me. She was thinking, there gotta be something seriously wrong in your body. It's not my fault. I am qualified professional fattener. But something gotta be wrong in you. That's us. We don't want to accept the helplessness in us. We go, no, I am qualified. But because of that, it's not happening. Because that, I feel helpless. Not me, but all that. If you look at today's story, the centurion guy, he was so qualified. Even people around him giving recommendation to Jesus. They were saying, you know what, this guy is an awesome guy. You got to help him. He deserves you to act on whatever he requests. That's what's happening. But it won't happen. Helplessness will not go away even though we try really hard to be qualified. Years ago, there's a young adult group at the Riverside Church, and they asked me to come to their gathering and to speak for them. I'm like, okay. But they made a special request, which is, I want you to pick a song and give a short, and we sing together, and we want you to lead worship, singing that song, and give us a little message, short message about the song. There was a special format. I'm like, okay. Because I'm a musician myself, by the way. I play guitar, I sing, I do all that. I'm a musician, but again, I'm a musician, okay? I'm a skinny musician. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So I picked the song, I was practicing and all that. got ready. I went to the gathering. And then the guy who invited me, introduced me to the people there. Pastor Sunny will come up and we're gonna sing a song and give us a message. Oh, okay, and I was up. And I grabbed the guitar like this. And then I was holding it. And I told them it was a song we're gonna sing together. It was Heart of Worship. So we're gonna sing together. And then I did one stroke. And then I realized that the guitar was not tuned. I'm like, oh no, maybe I was supposed to come early and tune the guitar first, but I didn't do that. Now the guitar is off the tune. What should I do? What should I do? All kinds of thoughts were just going through my mind. What should I do? What should I do? I can't just stop here and just tuning. That'll be a little awkward, right? I mean, just imagine that. I just stop speaking to you and grab the guitar and start tuning. You're like, Pastor Sonny, you've been doing all kinds of awkward things. Now it's the most awkward moment ever. I'm like, what should I do? What should I do? And then, by grace of God, I spot one of the people gathering there. He was a guitarist. I'm like, okay, maybe I can ask him. So his name was Natsu, is his name. Hey, Natsu, you're here. I'm like, yeah, I'm here. You're a guitarist. Yes, I am. Could you do me a favor? This guitar is off the tune. Can you take this guitar outside and tune it and bring it back to me? Then we can sing together. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. And he took the guitar, went outside, and then I gave a little jokes here and there, and they were laughing, make some time. And then he came back and tossed me the guitar. I'm like, and then gave the stroke again, perfectly tuned, ready to go. I'm like, I told everybody, okay, this is now tuned, perfectly, properly tuned. We're gonna sing this song together. When the music fades, Holy stripped away. We sang together. We had a good time. I gave a little message. Everything was good. Everybody was like happy. And the gathering was over. I went outside on the way home. And Natsu, the guitarist who tuned my guitar, was out there. And so I'm like, hey, thank you. It was urgent request. But you took it well. Thank you so much for helping me. And he said, oh, that was okay. I'm like, oh, no. You saved my day. You know what he actually said? No, I didn't really tune it. It was tuned already. You know the kind of shame I felt at the moment? I was like, it's not tuned. Can you take this outside? I'm like, and he went out, he took it outside. I'm like, this is perfectly tuned. And when he gave it back to me, I'm like, hey, everybody, this is perfectly tuned now. I know, it's very embarrassing. But listen, I try hard to be ready and to be qualified to lead a song together and speak to them, but I failed. I felt helpless. It happens to your life too. You will do everything you can do to be qualified in every area of your life. But that kind of qualification, any kind of qualification, will not help you to escape from all those possibilities of feeling of helplessness. The centurion goes, everybody says he's qualified. Everybody says he deserves Jesus' help. But you know what he actually said? I don't deserve it. I don't deserve your coming to my house. Though everybody else says, I deserve this. Everybody else says, I'm qualified. No, I'm not. I'm not. Because when you acknowledge that you're not qualified, when you acknowledge that your helplessness is real, when you acknowledge that you try really hard, the feeling of helplessness, you can't really get yourself out of it, then you see that Jesus is greater than what you see. That's what the centurion is saying. Jesus, you're greater than any qualification that I have. I've been doing all different kinds of works here and there, and interpreting is one of them. And when any foreign guest comes into Korea, or sometimes there's an occasion that translator or interpreter is needed, sometimes I go there and help them. And I've been doing this for almost like 20 years now. And I'm not saying this like myself, actually, but people around me saying this. So please forgive me. I'm not the one who's saying this again. It's people around me. They're saying, this is not my words, but their words, okay? Oh, Pastor Sonny, you are the world's greatest interpreter. I'm not saying it. There's people around me. They're like, I go like, stop it. No, I'm not. But they keep saying, Pastor Sonny, you're the world's greatest. Okay, I'll stop. Anyway, but last week, there's a school called Korean Baptist Seminary, okay? And they asked me to come and interpret for the foreign guests who coming and speak for their chapel. So I went there. But you know what? If you actually get a reputation of world best interpreter like me, though I'm not saying it, okay? What happened is you want to get even better. I'm like, okay, the only rival that I have is me in the previous case. Oh, that sounded really bad, right? Anyway, so I wanted to get better and better. Anyway, so I got invited to interpret for the guests. I went there. And everything was, even the president of the school, the Baptist school, when he introduced me, he was like, today, the interpreter of our guest speaker is Pastor Sonny Kim, and he's well known as world best interpreter. He said it in the chapel. You see, you're the only ones who never heard about this. So I went, no, I did really well. Everything was going well. And then there was a big crisis happen. So I'm going to show you what happened. I got the video. Okay? Can you show us the video? Video is on the way. Perfectly tuned. So how's your life, everybody? Is everything's okay? Yeah? Oh, okay. By the way, the beginning, the president was introduced me. I didn't really add any subtitle. You'll get it. Go.
오늘 설교는 함께하는 교회의 김선의 목사님이 통역을
Pastor
해주십니다.
Sonny will
목사님
interpret.
잠깐 일어나시기 바랍니다.
Can you stand?
통역으로는 대한민국
He's a Korean
제1이라고
best
합니다.
interpreter.
제일 잘하신대요.
내가 누구인지의
best.
모든
That's me.
것들을 예수께서 변화시켰어요.
In addition to all the trouble I had gotten into with the law, I also had struggled in school.
제가 법도 많이 어기고 학교에서도 불량 학생이었었지만
I failed 2 grades because I could not read.
제가 글을 못 읽어가지고요 2년이나 꿇었어요.
I graduated high school
Okay, those
with
people who don't
very
understand
low
Korean, I'm doing
grades.
really
제가
well.
고등학교 졸업할 때 받은
Excellent
성적은
job.
정말 처참했습니다.
I didn't learn to read until 4th or 5th grade,
제가 4학년, 5학년 때나 글을 읽을 줄 알았어요.
and I never thought that I would become an academic.
제가 총장이 될 줄은 상상조차 못했어요.
But Jesus' grace can transform anybody.
하지만 예수의 은혜가 그걸 가능케 하셨습니다.
He took a kid like me
저같이 부족한 애를 가지고
so broken and filled
World
with shame,
best.
너무 무너지고 절망밖에 없고 완전히 망가진 그 삶을
and he changed everything.
그 모든 것을 바꾸셨어요.
The next thing I knew, I was in college,
제가 정신 차려보니까 대학생이었어요.
and I never meant to go to college.
저 대학 갈 생각도 없었거든요.
I finished college and went into my master's degree work at seminary.
그 다음에 신학교에 석사과정 들어갔고요.
I finished my seminary degree and went into a PhD program.
박사학위까지 갔어요.
I finished that PhD and went into another PhD program.
박사 하나 끝나고 또 박사 들어갔어요.
God made me a pastor.
그리고 하나님께서 저를 목사로 만드셨습니다.
God made me a professor.
교수로 만드셨어요.
God made me a dean of a college.
그 다음에 디인이 뭐지? 학장으로 만드셨어요.
And God has now made me the president
그
of one
다음에
of the largest seminaries in the world.
세계에서 가장 큰 신학대학교 중에 하나의 총장으로 하나님이 저를 만드셨습니다.
A kid who once could not read
글도 못 읽는 애였어요.
has now published 8 or 9 books.
8개, 9개 책을 벌써 썼고요.
This is the grace of our God.
이게 은혜의 힘입니다.
You are someone that Jesus loves and died to save.
당신은 예수님께서 자신의 생명을 다 내어주시기까지 구원하시고 싶은 그런 존재예요.
You are someone that His grace can transform.
그리고 당신은 그 은혜가 변화시킬 그 사람이에요.
And let me make one more point very quickly.
그리고 끝날 때 되니까 마지막 하나 더 얘기해 줄게요.
You are someone that Jesus seeks to use for His kingdom.
그리고 예수께서 그분의 나라를 위해 여러분들을 쓰실 것입니다.
Isn't this wonderful?
멋지지 않습니까?
God takes people like us who were once broken.
우리처럼 형편없는 사람들을 데려다가
He forgives us of our sins and transforms our lives.
우리의 죄를 용서하시고 우리 변화시키시는 거예요.
And then he puts us to work for his kingdom.
그리고 그분의 나라를, 그분의 온전한 뜻을 위해 쓰신다는 것. 그리고 언젠가는 우리가 다 같이 그곳에 서게 될 날이 있겠죠.
We'll look back on our days on this earth.
그리고 돌아보면서 우리가 이 땅에서 살아간 날들을 기억하게 될 것입니다.
And those things that we have done together as his ambassadors will be the things that matter most.
우리가 그분의 대사로서 이 땅에서 감당했던 그 모든 것들이 우리에게 가장 소중한 일이었구나를 다시 실감하게 될 거예요.
So I encourage you to be faithful to him every step of the way.
그리고 그 상황 속에 여러분 성실히 신실하게 감당하시기를 응원합니다.
President P, you have wonderful students.
이렇게 보니까 피 총장님 학생들 상태 괜찮은 것 같아요.
And I pray God's blessings upon you.
그리고 여러분 위해서 기도하겠습니다. Okay, that's it.
오늘 설교는 함께
You see, that's the world best. Okay, I gotta. No, I just met the guy. I asked for like sermon notes, but they didn't give me any. And I just met the guy. As I was listening, I had to just interpret for the man. Everything was going well when he said, and then I became a dean of the school. I'm like, what's the dean in Korean? At that brief moment, all kinds of thoughts went through my mind. And then you know what I did? What's the dean in Korean? 학장! Again, listen. I try to my best to be qualified. I try to my best to prove that yes, I am the world best interpreter as you announce, introduce me to those people. I want to show other people that I am that. But I failed. It was the first time for them to hear an interpreter saying, I don't know the word. But after all that, I realized again, though I messed it up, God still communicated his message because he's bigger than what I am capable of. Faith is not really about that you be more qualified. Faith is not really about that you getting upgraded to the higher level of faith. Now I go to church more often. Now I read more Bible. Now I pray more. All that matter. They all matter. Important. But the essence of faith is not all that. It is you acknowledge that I'm not qualified. I can't get myself out of the possibility of just facing that helplessness. But it's okay, because your grace is bigger than me. It's bigger than what I'm capable of. That was Centurion's confession. He's saying, yeah, people say I'm qualified, but I'm not. But I know you're bigger. So I need you ASAP. How can we believe that? I saw an interesting meme in the internet once. There's a guy who was saying this. Can you show me the first one? He said, I told my wife to embrace her mistakes. I think he's trying to convince his wife, saying, you know what, you make so many mistakes. You make so many. Today you made a lot already. But I want you to just embrace those mistakes, accept yourself. So I think he was trying to be nice, but at the same time harsh, like all those ordinary husbands out there. So he's saying, I told my wife to embrace her mistakes. And then he said, she gave me a hug. You were the biggest mistake I ever made. Yet, listen. And I want to embrace you. I think this is the confession of faith we're supposed to have. I'm still a mess. I'm not qualified. I still face endless helplessness in my life. But I still remember, I still know that you're still holding me. And Jesus saying, wow, this is the greatest faith I ever seen in Israel. And he didn't mind to show us that amazing love. He didn't mind giving us himself, actually. He didn't mind coming to the earth. He didn't mind getting humiliated and tortured on the tree called the cross and saying, you know what? though you're a mess, though you're not qualified, I will hold you and I'll show you how big, how great my grace for you is. And you'll see that and you'll know that. Now, I'd like to have a time of reflection and prayer. As we have a little time of reflection and prayer, I want you to see deep inside of your heart, there must be some helplessnesses in your life, in your heart you're facing. Maybe it can be in your school, can be at your work, in your family, in your future. There's helplessness in your life. You feel you're not qualified and you try hard. You want to be a better mom, you want to be a better father, you want to be a better husband, you want to be a better student, you want to be a better employee. You want to prove that you're qualified so that you can actually get yourself out of helplessness situation. But I want you to have this honest conversation with God, with Jesus at this moment. Say this to him. Jesus, I'm not qualified. I'm helpless. But still, I'm okay. Because your grace for me is greater. And as you have that honest conversation with your Jesus, I think he's going to show us again his cross, his hand, the bloody hands, saying, you know what? I've done all this to make sure that you know I am yours. I'll still embrace you. Let's pray.